Welcome to the Shoogly shed. I'm Ewan. Again, we're in the garage. Working on the GS500. This is part 2 of the exhaust series. Hopefully the last one, just be the two of them. Previously, you remember, we basically figured out where we wanted to cut the stock end can off, and we did that, and then we shaped the pipe a little bit. Today I have my new end can, it's arrived. So what I need to do is mock up where I want it to be positioned on the pipe, cut the pipe. I've got little lugs to weld on for the springs to keep the end can on, make sure we've got the internal diameter of the pipe to accept the internal diameters. We'll make it work. So the exhaust I've bought is a Schnell from xlmoto.com. They do a lot of accessories and parts and things like that. It's a sort of universal conic silencer. I didn't want to go for the cheapest of cheap, but I also didn't want to spend huge amounts of money on an exhaust. These retail at about £120, 115 maybe. This was on sale around about 50, so I could chunk off. Quality wise, it seems pretty good. It looks, I'll get it out of the packet. It seems to be pretty well made. It's decent welding on it and things, so yeah, quite happy with that to go on the bike. And this was the sort of look I was wanting to go for. I like this little sort of matte black end piece here. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of an argument to be made for high-end exhausts and the performance benefits and things, but to be honest, the benefits of a high-end exhaust to a 90s parallel twin are few and far between, so I'm not going to break the bank on something super expensive, and this was a decent middle ground. So with the exhaust loosely bolted onto the hanger, you can kind of see roughly the gap that needs bridged here. The headers aren't on super tight, they've not got the gaskets in them, so they won't be held on very tight just yet. Essentially, that gap needs to be bridged. I don't know if you can see, it's quite dark in this shady corner of the garage. What this exhaust does come with, however, is this pipe sort of adapter, which fits into this end, and I've marked it for how deep it goes into that pipe. So essentially I need to make that fit into that pipe to allow that to accept it. It also comes with corresponding little wire lugs, these things here, that we can weld onto the pipe here to have the sort of springs holding them together. So that's pretty much my job, is to align this, get it welded in there, and weld the things on, and then yeah, hopefully that will do the job. One thing to point out is that this adapter cone is not magnetic, but it is steel. That basically indicates that it's stainless steel. Stainless steel tends not to be magnetic, or at least it might be very slightly magnetic. Either way, pretty sure this is stainless steel. Welding stainless steel with a regular flux core wire will work, but it won't be stainless anymore. The welds will rust. You'll still get decent penetration in it and adhesion to it, but it will rust. I'm not that bothered about that, because if you have a wee look at the mild steel pipes that I'm welding it to, I don't think my weld here is going to be the biggest issue. So I'm going to do it anyway. So I've done a tack on either side, and I've just offered it up to the bike, and it all lines up perfectly, and that's what these kind of lines were all about, to help me line it up. But it lines up. So the next job now is just to go around the whole seam with the welder and seal it up. Cool, so that's it all welded up now. I don't think that's too bad. Don't know if that's focusing or not, but that'll clean up nicely, I reckon. And next thing to do is to weld on the little eyelets that the exhaust springs go into. Right, that's them welded on. Don't know if you've seen these types of exhausts before, they're pretty common in sports bikes and things. Essentially there's a spring there that goes into the corresponding hook on the end can and holds it all together. So all there is left to do really is to clean the rest of the exhaust up and get it sprayed up black. I was thinking about getting it ceramic coated and that kind of thing, but I did speak to a dude that does ceramic coating, and he reckoned that for headers it doesn't last that long, and if you're just going for black and not any kind of cool colours, then you're as well just painting it with VHT and just doing it properly, just getting it right down to bare metal and really getting good adhesion to the paint. So that was from the horse's mouth, as they say, as a ceramic coater himself. Talked himself out of business. Anyway, I've got a can of VHT paint and a big wire wheel, and now I've just got to get dirty cleaning up these absolutely disgusting headers. Well, that's the exhaust pretty much rust free. It's pretty badly pitted, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a mild steel exhaust. Next up is painting it, but I've run out of time today, so that's a job for tomorrow. The pipes all sprayed up black, and then they've came out reasonably well considering. This end pipe looks great, nice and smooth, but as you kind of get towards the top of the headers, the pitting is a wee bit more evident, but you know, you saw what they were like to start off with, so I think that result is fair. When they're back on the bike, I think they're going to look really smart, especially with that shiny end can. Yeah. What do you think, Maggie? Do you like them? Yeah. Maggie approves. Cool, so time to fit the exhaust. It has dried overnight, and then I've just been curing it with the heat gun. It's the best I can do when the bike's off. Sorry, when the exhaust's off the bike. You usually want to cure it by running the engine, but obviously we've not got the engine running yet, so that's the best I could do. It'll probably still cure a little bit more when it goes on the bike. So, without further ado, let's do it. One thing I should point out is I'm using stainless bolts. I know usually people use exhaust studs, but the OEM are bolts, so I'm going for bolts. Don't know why, but I'm just doing it. These are stainless. Stainless bolts going into the header, especially with the heat cycles of the engine, will weld themselves in place, so I have packed the holes with copper slip, and that is to try and prevent that happening if I ever need to take the exhaust off. Hopefully that will give me a fighting chance. There we go. That's the exhaust fitted to the bike. Pretty chuffed with that. Well, that's another important job ticked off the list, and one step closer to getting this bike running and started. Exhausts fitted. So I'm pleased with them. I think they look really good, really pleased with the paintwork, and the end can is a nice touch as well. So yeah, can't really complain about that at all. Fairly straightforward process, and I'm pleased with the result. As usual, give me a like, leave me a comment, and make sure you do subscribe to the Shoogly Shed Motors channel, and I would really appreciate that. And thank you to everyone else who has subscribed already. I will see you next time. Bye.